20th of May 2025. You're welcome back to Real True Education, not fake news. President Donald Trump and President Vladimir Putin of Russia have had a 2-hour telephone conversation, which it is understood went quite well. Long chat, more of a chat than anything else. And we don't exactly know what was said, but we know what the objective of President Trump is, to bring about the end of the bloodbath in Ukraine, and that's what it is, definitely a bloodbath. According to Trump, 5,000 people are dying per week in Ukraine. That is shocking if that's the case. Now, critics of mine here will say it's all Putin's fault, it's all Putin's fault. Others will take a different view, and we'll not solve it here. But I have no doubt that Putin used the opportunity to bring Trump fully up to speed with what his view is, to bring him fully up to speed with what is actually happening and what has happened, and that the date of the Ukraine conflict does not start on the 22nd of February 2024. It started back a lot earlier than that. So at least you have President Trump up to speed. A number of things were agreed that Ukraine and Russia need to start talking about a ceasefire for now. And a number of other things which don't mean much unless they deliver. Now, Trump will be given a very positive view on it, and Putin is very reserved. I don't think Putin is as positive as Trump is. However, it's a bit of a start. Now, the trouble is the EU is out of the tree. Starmer in Britain, European Union, they don't know whether to laugh or cry. They're shocked. They're shocked. They wanted to meet Trump and praise Trump of what he had to say to Putin, and Trump went on and did it alone without them and told them afterwards, and they're in a bad way. Zelensky is in a very bad way. We all know that any peace settlement has to involve Russia keeping the Crimea and keeping part of the territories it has already captured. And that's at a minimum. So I'd say peace is not that close yet. However, it may be possible to allow Putin to offer a certain amount that Ukraine might go with, or might be forced to go with, because if President Trump can bring around a situation where he says, this is what we want, this is the way it's to go, well then you'll be putting Europe and Zelensky in the position of blocking that peace. The two sides are very, very far apart. But I just want to bring you up to date with that. It's supposed to be that they kept chatting away, and that Trump said, right, put down the phone, and Putin says, no, you put it down, and they kept chatting on for a while. That's supposed to be the case. There is also talk that the place to hold peace talks, funny enough, I mean the things Trump comes up with, is in the Vatican. The Vatican. And I wouldn't count it out. It's a bit early to say. Now, I'll leave it at that just to bring you up to date. That's what has happened, and you'll be getting it all on the news, but you need to get it from me truthfully, and not a spin that you'll get from RTE. Now, all the lefties here will be shouting, roaring, Putin's a wrong one, Trump's a wrong one, everyone's wrong, Zelensky's a queen. They love him. Every time they go outside, they must have Zelensky. If there's any event, Zelensky must be at it. And they've elevated him up to like the High King of Tara. That's the way it's going. He's not entitled to that at all. And there are a lot of bitter Nazis in his country. However, as the bloodbath continues, and Trump continually says he is shocked by the bloodbath, and I have always said about President Trump, he's not bloodthirsty. He's not out for blood. Now, the game then for Europe is difficult as well, because if they can keep this war going for the next, we'll say 17 years, I don't know what woman would let herself get pregnant if that's what her sons are going to be doing. You'd think they wouldn't have any children for them for this. But if they can keep it going for 17 years or for the immediate future, then the situation of the United States backing up Europe with NATO would be strengthened. On the other hand, if there's a settlement and the terms do not suit Europe, well, then you have a funny situation where America has a peace agreement, there's a deal done, Putin has agreed to it and says, I'll stick with that, there's no change there. And then what's the EU going to do? There is a lot of talk that it could collapse NATO. I'm not saying it will, but just be aware of that. How can NATO justify itself if the main engine is that the United States has a different course to Europe? Europe are mad socialist. They want war. They have no regard for human rights. And they are stopping democracy in their own country and actively conniving to prevent the will of the people being expressed in the ballot box. So that's the way it is, folks. Now, all you get on the BBC, Trump said he'd have peace in 48 hours. You know, that's all they can do. And they'll be on here, he's a cheat, he's a fraud, he's this and that and the other. Maybe he didn't know the truth of what happened. That is, the Ukrainians are the killers. The Ukrainians were the first killers. They're a vicious Nazi country. They're not suitable to be in Europe or anything else. And how the Germans can square being friendly with Nazis after what happened to them in their country, if you put up a Nazi swastika, you'd be jailed. And just across the border, the Ukrainians can do it, no problem, and they're clapped on the back. So that's the state of play. It's a tentative move towards some type of peace arrangement. And I think myself, and this is my own view, they'll blame Trump and say he's no good, he's no good, he's no good. He's trying. He's trying his best, and if you try your best, what more can anyone do? That all right, folks? We leave it at that on 7 minutes. Comment underneath. But a good long chat, over 2 hours, has taken place between President Trump and President Vladimir Putin of Russia, and the outcome was amicable at least, and left the place open for further talks. The EU is livid. Zelensky is out of his tree, and Starmer in Britain is mad. He can't wait to get the blood of the British people flowing. The blood that's been lost in Ukraine is food or grist to the mill. It's medicine for the European Union. It's medicine for them. They love this. Macron loves the blood flowing. Ursula von der Leyen is a bloodthirsty. She'd want to see it spread all over the place. And Starmer is the same. And the Germans are not much better. But we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, the freedom that brought around America, the democracy, the real democracy that a few times got dented but still survives in America, has built up an army and a military fit for job. And while the rest of them in Europe were shouting about climate change and LGBTQ and all this stuff, they were neglecting their military. So they're not really in a position to complain much. They'll complain, but I don't think they're going to get anywhere. I think it's good. I think it's a start anyway, and we'll see how it goes. Comment underneath. That's the best I can do. That's fairly well researched, but again, I'm not giving you a lot of the private chat, because talks like those, you don't come out and start mouthing about everything that was said. If you do that, you lose faith. And I think Trump's wise enough. Now, he is publishing some stuff on Truth Social, and but that's one of the things that the meeting between the parties will be in the Vatican. Strangest thing I ever heard. Maybe to be lucky, you wouldn't know. We'll see you back. Thank you. Bye.